How did I get here? One moment staring into a devastating, handsome man's eyes, intense, romantic tension, completely unexpected. But let's backtrack. My life wasn't supposed to be romance. Hours ago, I was in my element, the university history department, tucked away in relic storage, my 5-star resort. Top student, history nerd, 24 and single. Relics are better than dates. Then I saw a gilt bronze mirror, breathtaking, preserved my reflection. Clear, historian brain went wild with its Tangming mystery. Then the world to end. An alarm blared, thick black smoke poured in, fire surged. I grabbed the mirror, bolted for the stairs. Smoke was a wall. I tripped, the mirror clattered. Crawled, coughing, lungs screaming. I couldn't breathe. Vision fading, not ready to be a historical footnote. As my eyes closed, a voice echoed, "You don't want to die, right?" I blinked, now floating in a dreamscape of golden light. A girl in ancient robes asked, "Do you want to live?" To live, I reached. A hand pulled me into a surreal tunnel, lanterns and pearls. The girl whispered, "Exchange your soul. Fulfill a princess's duty." She drifted away. Warning, there's fire on the other side. Be careful. The mirror's golden light faded, and I met intense violet eyes. It was Duke Avis, his face filling my vision, way too close. My heart pounded. One moment a history student, next cradled like a doll by a dupe. Screaming shattered the tension. The world was ending outside. This wasn't a museum fire. It was a full-blown assassination attempt. They shouted about opposing the marriage and a planned hit. Someone yelled, "Launch the lifeboat. High-tech for a princess world." A nearby crystal hummed with violent, jagged energy. Static electricity hissed, then a deafening roar. Boom! An explosion ripped through a wall of heat and white light. My vision blurred, eyelids heavy. Everything faded to a dull, painless gray. A low, desperate voice whispered, "No choice left." My eyes snapped open. I was still in Duke Avis's arms, in a massive, glowing magic circle. Blue sparks and white light swirled, fighting back the flames. This was my second near-death experience. I felt a bizarre security. His arms were warm, his grip firm. I felt weightless, drifting away. Then I heard birds chirping. High, sweet notes. I lay among cool, white flowers, the scent of spring filling my lungs. I forced an eye open. A window. A bird flew past. Definitely not the museum. Duke Avis hovered, composed. I was in a quiet, expensive study. My elaborate dress was shredded. I felt a very chilly draft. The Duke ripped a rose-patterned curtain off the rod. He knelt, wrapping it around me. His purple eyes searched mine, intense and unreadable. Heavy doors swung open. "Your Highness," a maid cried. Roses explode around me and Duke Avis. Blooming through time feels it too real for my life. But for Avis, the rose scent triggers a deep, forgotten memory. He's a small boy hidden in a royal garden. He watches a woman who embodies spring. His mother, a vision in violet silk, is both commanding and gentle. "Mother," he whispers, filled with childish awe. Young Avis asks a bold question, "How do you stay young?" She laughs, explaining her heart isn't trapped by society's label. Queen, mother, wife, she lists roles that don't define her. "I am still myself," she declares, regardless of her many roles. Her eyes turn serious. Women shouldn't be seen as the role they play. Her hand rests on his head, a grounding touch he still feels. "A woman is most powerful when she is herself," she whispers. Avis never understood, living a cold life of duty and titles. Until he saw them, eyes that defied the princess mold. Bright, aggressive, alive. Eyes that refused to be defined by a crown. Her eyes showed her soul, not her rank. He finally understood. His mother's lesson clicks. He sees a person, a soul refusing to be extinguished. A frantic cry shatters the moment. "Your Highness," a maid, trembling, asks if he's all right. Avis snaps back. His warmth vanishes, replaced by an icy mask. Maids flutter around me. I look at him, but Avis turns away, cold as stone. His eyes narrow, burying the brief connection under steel and duty. "Get the carriage," he commands, his voice sharp. "To the White Crystal Palace." Emotional whiplash. Was that warmth in his eyes? Then ice. My brain flips. Whatever. I have bigger problems. Survival. Follow the Duke. Avoid assassination. We leave Gakwal's manor. The Duke's silence makes the carriage ride excruciating. I fume. A magic circle erupts. The carriage halts. Blue crystals surround us. Avis pulls me, but a shard grazes my neck. My survival just got complicated. The carriage stopped at the blinding white Crystal Palace gates. Duke Avis stepped out, regal, and offered his hand. We walked to the grand entrance, tension thick in the air. I held my head high, hiding my injuries. Inside, I just wanted to find a bed and sleep forever. Inside the foyer, grand architecture soared. A young attendant in blue bowed deeply. "Your Royal Highness, the king awaits," he announced. Avis' grip on my hand loosened. He let go, cold and final, without a word. "Report to the king," Avis ordered the attendant, his voice cold. "I'll report on the trip. The princess is yours." He turned his back, walking away. A hollow ache filled my chest. He just did his duty. I told myself it's normal for him to leave. But why did I feel so empty? The attendant gestured to double doors. "Princess, wait for the king's summon." I followed, heels clicking on stone. Every step felt heavy. Corridors were lined with royal portraits. The art quality was undeniable. I paused, looking at past royals' faces flower. Kingdom culture should be superior. It wasn't worse than this place. How could I prove its worth? Princess, prepare for the king's call. My heart hammered. This was it. My first big test. Many wanted me to fail, or worse, dead. I gripped my dress, knuckles white. I doubted why I came to this world. Not to be a sacrificial lamb. Not to die in some petty plot. I took a deep breath, eyes sharp. I'd face my fate, head high. The ornate doors creaked open to golden light. The king stood, regal, under chandeliers. Princess Wenxin, welcome, he said warmly. He wore blue and gold, offering a hand. I curtsied deeply, graceful despite nerves. Thank you, your majesty. I am honored. The king sat on his throne, smiling kindly. Wait, this kind man was my big test. Seemed more doting uncle than ruthless king. Avis told me the king said, your journey was hard. The airship explosion sent me near the capital. Avis's manor was closed, so they found me. Wait, Avis made that up? I glanced at Avis, his face indifferent. Well done, Duke Avis, I thought, smirking. He covered the ambush with a malfunction. The king turned to my accommodation. Leon, silver-haired boy, stepped forward. Duke Kent's mansion is vacant. Prince Wenxin can stay there. A boy? He seemed too young for this. Leon bowed, accepting the order. The king smiled. Princess, settle in. You need rest. I bowed, relieved. Yes, your majesty. I turned to leave, dreaming of a soft bed. I walked away quickly, eager to escape. Please stay. Princess, a voice cut in. Little man, I blurted, looking down at the silver-haired boy. Leon's face flushed crimson, eyes wide with rage, like a ruffled kitten. I'll inherit my father's title, he barked, chest puffed. Call me Little Duke Kent, I stared, unimpressed. All right, little Duke, I sighed, waving him off. I was done with palace intrigue. I just wanted a bed. Leon's eyes narrowed, suspicious. Are you done taking advantage of me? He accused. What did he even mean? Before I could ask, I bumped into Duke Kent. The Duke, golden-bearded and imposing, offered no pleasantries. Be careful. The ceremony 3 days later. Princess, he rumbled ominously. His face was cold, stern. He turned and walked away, leaving me to ponder. 3 days, not much. Time to figure out how not to die. As he left, a young man with rose-colored hair caught my eye. He paused, then turned, walking back towards me with a purposeful stride. Princess Wenxin Li, he said, going deeply, his sincerity startling. I hope my father didn't make you uncomfortable. I wish you all the best. I was stunned. This was the first genuine politeness from an aristocrat. Here, my cynical heart softened. He seemed like the only normal person. I performed an Eastern greeting. Thank you for your blessing. I wish the same for you. My dream of a quiet life? Short-lived. Duke Evis invaded my mansion, shattering the peace. He grabbed my chin. Can I have a word? He demanded, chillingly. Leon watched, helpless. The Duke's cold eyes dissected me. He flatly said I'd shown off too much, embarrassing Earl Howard. Be careful, he warned. Be fully prepared. A chill hit me. Prepared for what? He didn't answer. He turned to leave, then slammed his hand next to my head. In 3 days, he hissed, show them your magic power. If not prepared, he whispered, they'll prepare a gallows. A hemp noose flashed. My heart hammered. Airship survivor. Meet the hangman. The Duke left. I lunged at Leon, desperate. Leon, please. He looked startled. I needed a butler with the best connections. He agreed, to my relief. By tomorrow, night fell. I took a hot bath, scrubbing off threats. My handmaidens hovered, worried my memory of powers was gone. I played brain damage, claiming accelerated brain cell metabolism. They bought the lie, but knew nothing useful. My powers were a national secret. My only lead, a bronze mirror. Death in 72 hours. My weapon? Bronze furniture. The girls chirped, calling me a goddess, born under flower rain. Only I had Thurgy. Emperor and concubine worshipped me. But the twist, my mother was just a lady dead when I was 2. I lay back, feeling ironic. What a Mary Sue character. Reality was grim. Original Wenxin swapped souls for a reason. Dead mother, overbearing concubine. Palace drama reeked. Not a goddess, a pawn. She traded places at checkmate. Duke Avis's words haunted me. They will prepare a gallows. This wasn't romance. It was survival horror. Warning, no clue, but a tea party. Handmaidens presented a ruffled western dress from the king. I felt defiance. If a pawn, I'd be the hardest piece. I slammed my hand. I'm wearing our Eastern dress. I emerged in a traditional gown, butterflies in my hair. Leon waited, breathless, dazzled by my sunlit robes. He introduced Mrs. Jones, stern and silver-haired. She scanned me. My dress was inconvenient for curtsying. I gave my best royal smile, hiding a scream. She insisted on lecturing me to palace. The ride was an etiquette nightmare. At the palace, I leaped from the carriage to escape her voice. Princess, wait! She called. I was already running. I didn't get far. A heavy boot stepped on my skirt. I stumbled. My new dress. I turned to snap. A man with rose-colored hair stood, mortified. I'm so sorry. His kind eyes were too much for this den of vipers. The script might be changing. Our princess arrives at the palace tea party, rocking a traditional cloud shoulder tassel. But before she even enters the garden, disaster strikes. A heavy boot lands right on her delicate hem. I'm so sorry, a voice drifts down, pinning her dress. Did I dirty your dress? He asks, his voice too calm. She looks up, meeting the gaze of a man with messy rose-colored hair. Ah, it's fine, she stammers, internally screaming about the dry cleaning bill. He doesn't wait, reaching down and kneeling dramatically. All eyes are on them. I did, he murmurs, gripping her skirt. Please let me help you clean it up. Talk about an over-the-top apology. He leads her to a bench, kneeling to dab her hem with a small cloth. It's a picturesque scene, but far from romantic. It can't be cleaned completely, he sighs, genuinely troubled by a bit of mud. You don't have to do this. She tries pulling her dress away. I'm sorry, he interrupts, eyes suddenly intense. Close your eyes. What? She blinks, completely baffled. All right. The moment her eyes close, the world changes. A gust of hot wind blows, a sudden, localized gale. Dust swirls, and water vapor evaporates from her dress. Done, he says. He lets go, and she snaps her eyes open. It's clean now. That's impressive. She gasps. The hem is pristine. Did you use your ma? He puts a finger to his lips, a silent hush. Because, princess, your dress is made of good fabric, he says. His eyes twinkle with a secret. So is easy to clean. Ryan? A sharp, feminine voice pierces the air. A blonde woman in a sprawling purple gown stands under a white parasol. Excuse me, your highness. I have to go now, Ryan says. He bows elegantly. Ah, sure, she mutters, watching him leave. He takes the parasol, playing the perfect attendant. The woman looks back, a small, triumphant smile on her lips. She's marked her territory. Our princess feels she's missed a dangerous play's opening. Princess! Mrs. Jones! Her voice is like a bucket of cold water. I finally found you. You can't just run around like this. Mrs. Jones stomps over, face a mask of annoyance. Our princess grabs her arm. Who's the pretty blonde girl next to Ryan? And what's her relationship with the Earl's family? Mrs. Jones sighs, shifting into practiced gossip mode. The youngest daughter of Earl Howard, Miss Caroline. 19, one of the capital's best beauties, excellent in etiquette and magic. She's right after her sister, the most beautiful woman in the capital. Rumor says a golden rose from the Earl's family will be queen. It's a pity her sister Anna passed away 16 years ago, she adds. Since then, the Earl poured everything into Caroline, who inherited powerful fire magic. She can definitely marry the best family in the kingdom. Our princess finally understands Duke Aviz. Her choice will conflict with many. Her appearance threatens the Howard family's entire retirement plan. No wonder the Earl targets her. She's a homewrecker for his daughter's ambitions. Was the Earl behind the carriage assassination? The pieces click into place. Last question, Mrs. Jones. Fire and air magic together? Mrs. Jones looks baffled. Then he must be a descendant of two families. Got it. Ryan's a hybrid, the Earl's secret weapon. Mrs. Jones, let's go home. But the tea party hasn't started yet. Leaving early is too rude. Tell them my whole body aches. She shouts, already halfway to the exit. Princess! Mrs. Jones wails, but she doesn't care. Whispers follow. Weird oriental dress. Defeated kingdom princess. She left the tea party. No etiquette, huh? Why allow such a princess? She grits her teeth. Remember me. Back in her quarters, the atmosphere shifts to a war room. Princess, why are you back so early? Her attendants ask, confused. She gives them no time to breathe. Xianxin, check how many flowers are in the garden. Li Shang, open my dowry box. Yes. They chirp, scurrying to obey. Princess, what are you planning? Since I was sent here as a pawn, I don't mind being a chess piece. She looks at the metaphorical board. But I'm not going to be just a pawn. I will be the powerful queen. Let's tell these foreigners an extravagant fantasy story. Her encounter with Ryan and the Earl's daughter has lighted her path. She has a new idea to tackle her crisis. Wenxin didn't sleep last night? Leon asks the next morning, concerned. Yes, she's been reading since we came back, Mrs. Jones replies, exhausted. And she asked for many books about our kingdom's magic history. I thought she'd sleep, but she ended up tailoring with her handmaidens. She's probably busy now too. Inside her room, she stands before the mirror, adjusting a simple whiter garment. Her hair is loose, her expression determined. She looks at her reflection and lets out a small, confident smile. Very good. It's time for the show to begin. The day of the ceremony arrives. The bells of the great cathedral ring through the capital. The welcoming ceremony of the princess from the Flower Kingdom is ready. The crowds whisper. It's about time too. Why is she still not here yet? Leon wonders, staring out the window. Inside the throne room, tension is thick. Your Majesty, maybe reconsider, the bearded Earl Howard says to the king. Perhaps there's a problem with this prince's identity. I think the so-called alliance by marriage is just a scam. She might be the spy of the Flower Kingdom. I think it's better to hand her over to the judiciary. The conspiracy behind the defeated kingdom shall be revealed soon. The king's eyes narrow, his patience wearing thin. Suddenly, the massive wooden doors creak open. Princess of the Flower Kingdom is here, the herald announces. A blinding light pours into the room as the doors swing wide. She steps through, and the entire room goes silent. She isn't wearing Western gowns or even her traditional dress. She's draped in a celestial, flowing outfit of gold, white, and azure. She looks like a mural come to life. She's the princess of the Flower Kingdom? The nobles gasp. A beautiful woman, as beautiful as a flower. She travels around like a bird, and a melodic sound could be heard. A beautiful woman, and her name shall not be forgotten. Leon steps forward, his voice booming. Your Majesty, please allow me to introduce you to the goddess who blesses our Flower Kingdom, the heavenly goddess. Her only incarnation in this world, Princess Wenxin Li. Petals begin to fall from the ceiling, a cascade of pink and white. They drift onto the red carpet as she walks forward. Her hands are pressed together in a prayer-like gesture, her expression serene, divine. The king and his court look on in stunned silence. This isn't a princess, it's an apparition. Earl Howard's face contorts with rage. This isn't in his script. She reaches the foot of the throne and looks up at the king. Your Majesty, the king, I would like to send you the deepest blessings from the heaven. She smiles, extending a single, glowing flower toward him. Your alliance with the East will prosper and flourish your kingdom. The king takes the flower, a faint, charmed smile appearing on his face. Your Majesty, don't listen to her nonsense. The Earl roars, stepping forward. We don't even know if she is a real princess. Also, where is her magic power? Did she show it yet? He turns to her, his eyes cold. What about your magic power? Surely you can't wait to show it, right? You're just a woman. You're not worthy of my magic. He turns back toward the gallery. Caroline. On command, the blonde girl from the garden steps forward. She raises her hands and a swirl of orange flame erupts around her arm. Whoosh, she thrusts her hand upward, and the fire explodes into a massive burning rose. It hangs in the air above the altar. Rose-shaped flame. The crowd cheers. She is indeed the golden rose of the Howard family. She's so talented. Your turn, Princess, the Earl sneers, condescension dripping from his voice. She doesn't flinch. She just lets a small, knowing smile play on her lips. Earl Howard, the heaven would like me to send you a message. She says softly. The Earl dared to question my magic at the shrine. Time for my ultimate skill. The bold-faced lie. I looked serene, hands clasped, and dropped the bomb. A beautiful, blonde angel stood right behind him. I claimed his face, paled as I whispered. She was calling him father. The Earl froze, eyes wide with horror, staring through me. Ryan and Caroline watched, utterly confused. I had to keep the momentum going. Don't move, I warned. A shift could sever my contact with the angel. Talk about a high-stakes reading. I gave him a small, knowing smile. Didn't he want her message? The Earl snapped, finger trembling. This is nonsense. He shouted. He spiraled, but Leon stepped in. Listen to her, he commanded. The Earl stumbled back, knees knocking, as I loomed with fake divine grace. Earl Howard's weakness was standing, right there. It was Ryan, his adopted son. Everyone gossiped about it. Why was he always around Ryan, the late daughter's stepbrother, supposedly like family? But the math was Maything, his daughter died 16 years ago. Ryan was exactly 16. Coincidence? I think not. The Howards are fire mages, and Ryan has 2 elements, one of them fire. Only one explanation for these coincidences. I looked the Earl in the eye and delivered the angel's message. Please take care of the treasure she left in the world. The Earl's eyes nearly popped out. The palace hummed. The king made a shocking decree. The Flower Prince would lead the debutante to ball's first dance. Court gossips whispered. It was too risky even for me. Stakes were high, but my smile was fixed. I just needed to survive. Earl Howard questioned Caroline's daring suggestion to the king. Caroline, fan hidden, explained popularity's double edge. In the spotlight, she declared, to break my popularity. Her plan, let me fail the dance, and my goddess persona would crumble. Back at the estate, Ryan stopped my escape. Agitated, he desperately asked privately about that angel's treasure. He quickly regretted his question, mumbling apologies. As he turned to leave, I seized the the chance. She asked me to pass you a message, I called out. Ryan spinning around, eyes wide with shock. I stepped closer. Possessing 2 types of magic is great. His face drained as I added, she hopes you'll realize. You're amazing, stunned. He stood frozen as I waved and walked away. Ally secured, or enemy neutralized by divine validate. The ball was 1 week away. No mistakes for this dance, I declared. 3 tasks. Strengthen my image. Master the dance. Cram history. Qianchen and Liu Shuang. Find a custom dress in a day. Mrs. Jones. My dance performance. The grand ballroom shimmered, thick with perfume and desperation. High society's gears ground, sizing each other up. Duke Avis's name rippled through the crowd. He stood cool and indifferent, Caroline hovering nearby. He gave her a vague, polite nod. Caroline preened, boasting about her imported dress. Her sycophants praised her. Gossip turned to me, the Flower Kingdom princess. They wondered if Avis would dance, then insulted me. She has no dress. Her kingdom is poor, they whispered. How could a princess without a dress lead the dance? Suddenly, the room fell silent. I made my grand entrance, the crowd parting. My cerulean gown was a statement, a fusion of cultures. Whispers changed. Is that even allowed? I smiled. Princess Wenxin Li, someone stammered, eyes scanning my silk. A noblewoman asked where I got it customized. I explained our kingdom's fine silks, shoes house seamstresses. We combined both styles for an extraordinary result. Duke Avis watched me intensely, analytical. He recalled his mother's words, a wise fiancé. He weighed those words against me. Caroline interrupted, her voice a poisoned needle. She asked about Yang Xiao's human trafficking issue. Is that true? She smirked with predatory glee. The ballroom went cold. I knew it was true. Yang Xiao's dark history of selling daughters. Caroline brought up the horror of foot binding. Is this also true? She asked, dripping mock concern. Checkmate. She painted my culture as barbaric. Ugly whispers called my kingdom barbaric. My beautiful dress felt like a mask for something foul. I felt the weight of their judgment. A counter wouldn't matter. The king arrived, booming from the balcony. Invite your dancing partners, he announced. My instructor's words echoed. The lead lady is invited first, but I stood alone, a social pariah. No one approached the barbaric princess. Young Ryan tried to approach, but a guard stopped him. Ryan's jaw tightened in frustration. Duke Avis watched, his mother's words echoing. Be informed. Suddenly, Caroline stumbled, spilling wine on Avis. So sorry, she cried, ordering servants to clean him slowly. My patience snapped. I faced Caroline. I will end those bad practices myself, I declared. My conviction stunned her. I turned, catching Ryan's eye, and smiled. Princess Wenxin Li, Ryan called out, offering his hand. Duke Avis watched, a flicker of interest on his face. The game wasn't over yet. Ballroom's icy silence finally breaks. Ryan, nervous but resolved, asked me to dance. His timing could be more perfect. I give a small, practiced smile and take his warm hand. We move to the floor, fingers interlaced, his purple eyes fixed in intense concentration. We begin to move, and a collective gasp ripples through the crowd, their brains short-circuit. Whispers buzz like angry hornets. They can't believe adopted. Son dare invite the princess. I catch Caroline's eye. Her face is priceless, like she swallowed a lemon. Her social monopoly crumb. Gossip rages. Ryan doesn't know his place. My uncivilized kingdom couldn't teach proper dance. Jokes on them. Lead dancer isn't easy, but have tricks. The world of insults fades as we spin, a rhythmic grace defying their expectations. I feel like skirts flaring, navigating with stunning precision. Their stares shift from mockery to shock. As music swells, Ryan leans in, voice hushed with surprise. He admits my skill surprises him. I just practice very hard, I said. The understatement of the century. I recall grueling nights by the window. Moon my only audience, pushing myself to perfection. The crowd's tune changes fast. Murmur my dance rivals any aristocrats. Green eyes widen. A woman wonders if Flower Kingdom is civilized. Talk about a successful PR campaign. The music ends. We finish. We finally escape the ballroom's heavy air. My heels click on the terrace. Ryan walks ahead. He looks burdened. I just try not to trip. Ryan sighs. Finally, a break from the ball. He turns, softening. Must have been tiring. I give her a smile. Thanks for saving me from leg cramps. Ryan hesitates, then offers his arm. May I have the pleasure? I remember the etiquette. Arm in arm. I place my hand on his sleeve. He tenses. His eyes shimmer. He's actually blushing. Ryan murmurs, I will adjust my pace. To yours, I genuinely smile. He's more of a gentleman than I expected. We enter the garden shadows, but we're not alone. High above, a hand clenches a railing. A servant asks Leon why he's leaving early. Leon grumbles, I'm under 16, can't dance. I'll go drink milk. Grow taller. He spots a flicker in the darkened library. A magic circle pulses. With violent violet light, it hums, then vanishes instantly. In the gazebo, Bran begins to up. He's well cared for, even promised a Marcus title. I shouldn't complain about this life. But loneliness is inevitable, right? He steps closer. Princess Wenxin Li, you seem out of this world, like you came from above. Freeze, is he onto my soul swap secret? but I can talk so much with you. Roses bloomed, a rare moment of peace. Ryan and I stood elegantly among the petals. But inside I was a mess. Then voices shattered the quiet. Ryan, 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 a woman with sunset hair appeared, eyes narrowed. Too close with the Flower Kingdom princess, she demanded. She leaned in, reminding Ryan of his place. You're a future duke. Don't waste time on a woman with no future. The insult stung. I felt a flicker of irritation. Ryan's eyes darkened, intense and unreadable. He didn't argue, but his tension was clear. Why is she always here? I'm just a guest on borrowed time. Later, in my quarters, maids finished up. They opened windows, wishing me rest. All right, I said, finally alone. Or so I thought. I pondered which book to read, my mind still racing. A voice, not a maid's, broke the silence. Do you read every night? I froze, heart pounding, and whirled around. Ryan stood there, bathed in moonlight, far too comfortable. I stared, shocked and indignant. My apologies, he said, bowing. I've offended you. He turned to leave. Forget I was here. Easy? I grabbed a book. You used high-level magic to teleport here. But you can't say why you came to an enemy princess's room? Ryan stopped, looking back sincerely. You know everything. Must I say it? My mind screamed retreat. You didn't say it. I snark. He didn't back down. He touched my hair. Every night. I wonder, he whispered, what would it cost to have your hair beside mine? My brain stalled. Was he proposing? He drifted, lost in memory. Something was missing when I first saw you. He recalled me, provocative and unyielding, before my broken palace. I should be angry, but why did I stop thinking? What spell makes you shine? Why is crowning you all I think about? He whispered, leaning close. I want to give you gems, a fortress, a lush garden. Another man doing it drives me crazy. He held out his hand, a silent plea. Save me. Commit to me. Only me. Only me. Would you? I stared. Words caught. He saw my hesitation, covered his face in shame. It's hard to answer. I must be crazy, he muttered. I disregarded everything for this rash move. A frown deepened. Rash? Irrational? I don't want to fight myself anymore. I've fallen in love with you. Accept my proposal. He was sincere, but it was a cage. Rude not to answer, I said, voice cold. Thanks for your irrationality. Hope your pain passes. I took a breath, delivering the blow. I have zero interest in being Duchess. Ryan's eyes widened in shock. This, your answer? What sin did I commit? I didn't flinch. I should ask that. What sin did I commit for your humiliating proposal? No, I wasn't, he protested. I cut him off. Rash for love? I snapped. You have many candidates. No need to condescend. Think rationally. How can you ignore defeated kingdom pressure? My jaw set, fury cold. I came with responsibility. But I'd marry any man in this kingdom rather than you, Duke Avis. With your grudge, I slammed the door, leaving Duke Avis stunned by my rejection. Ryan slumped, his pride stinging from my audacity. He, the capital's untouchable prize, was agonizing over me. I, meanwhile, recalled my past life as Xinwen Lin, a sexist businessman once called daughters useless and lectured on my market value. He said women must know their place in a patriarchal world. Splash. I threw water in his face, then walked out. He screamed after me. Too dominant. No man wants her. Back in bed, I despaired. Why do men always want to own you? Ryan, too, regretted his rash, kingdom-disregarding move. I just want to respect. Was that so hard? My eyes closed, and I fell into a shimmering blue abyss. I found myself in a floating soul garden of luminous flowers. Queen Isabella appeared, radiant, wearing a pearl crown. She said she'd experienced my confusion, and that's how she made her crown. You called for me, she explained. Our souls connected. She prompted me about the Queen's amethyst. Follow my path, she instructed. Be like me to retrieve it. She faded, then winked. Give my silly son another chance. I raised him well. I bolted upright. Queen Isabella told me to give Avis a chance. Meanwhile, Ryan grimly vowed to forget me completely. But then, a lacy vision of me appeared, asking about breakfast. Ryan blushed, his subconscious betraying him. The vision kissed his cheek. One kiss, then get up. Wait, he shouted, snapping awake. Princess Marianne, with bright purple eyes, was on his bed. The maid shrieked for her to get down. I don't want to. Marianne chirped, clinging to Ryan. Ryan, head aching, asked why she was there, skipping studies. Stupid lessons, she huffed. Girls can't use magic without male elders. She snapped her finger, making her textbook float with magic. Let her, Ryan said. She inherited the Queen's magic. Use it freely, that's why I like Uncle Avis. Marianne cheered, hugging him. Ryan asked about recent news. Marianne mentioned Miss Caroline's tea party for the Flower Kingdom princess. My maid looked horrified. It's a trap. Let's skip it. Princess, I leaned my chin. A trap, huh? Let's go. See what she's capable of, if she's worthy of being my rival. Get my dress, carriage, and Mrs. Jones. In the carriage, I asked Mrs. Jones about Queen Isabella's fight for women's magic. Mrs. Jones, who served in the palace, spoke of Isabella's defiance. As a princess, Isabella froze council ministers' drinks. They had rejected her participation as a female. Punish me, Isabella declared, or I'll attend daily until you speak respectfully. A shiver ran down my spine. I understood the Queen's dream message. Same frequency. Divination is water magic. My name, Shuijing, means water mirror. If Isabella could freeze the world to listen. The world bloomed around Ryan and me, a perfect public image. Blooming through time, they called our portrait. But my reality at the tea party was far less sweet. Whispers about Her Highness filled the air. I was society's new toy. Hostess Caroline, elegant in lavender, greeted me with honeyed words. She praised my visit to her humble abode. Bringing light to her dwelling, I smiled serenely, but scoffed internally at her humble mansion's grandeur. Marble pillars, a grand staircase, gilded ornaments, this was no humble home. She saw me as a golden rose, delicate and controlled. Other guests watched with calculating eyes, their fans like predatory wings. This wasn't a social call. I braced for an inevitable trap. Caroline offered tea, sweet and fragrant, just like Princess Wenxin. A chill ran down my spine. She hinted at hidden qualities. She claimed I inspired her to research the Flower Kingdom's history. Caroline cited Queen Rend and the Grand Empress Dowager as virtuous models. Her unwavering gaze felt like a wolf studying a sheep. She then dropped the bomb. What about a political marriage? My breath hitched. She was no longer subtle. Straightforwardness is respect, she said, offering sincere advice. I set my jaw. You may. Caroline leaned in. You need powerful allies, princess. Allies for social circles, resources, and understanding aristocrats. Join our sisterhood, she whispered, and these won't be a problem. In return, they wanted my brilliant mind and cultural heritage. What do you think? She asked, the flowers feeling like a funeral wreath. I acknowledged the logic. A union seemed sensible. A lady offered rose candy, refined with Caroline's magic. Hopefully East and West blend perfectly, I murmured, dropping it in my tea. The candy swirled, condensing the tea into a perfect, floating rose. What excellent magic control, I remarked, genuinely impressed. Her friend explained it was Kebel's practiced tea art magic. Then it hit me. Such excellent magic only for tea art? The reason for my discomfort became clear. I confronted Caroline. If the great female emperor was your example, I'd believe you. But Queen Rendi? Models of women's virtue. Your words are sugar-coated bullets. I put down my cup with a sharp clatter. If your goal is to support men, another smart woman is a rival, not an ally. Caroline's green eye twitched in anger. I wish you had Empress Katrina's aspiration, I told her, laced with irony. Then we might actually form an alliance. EOU, Caroline exploded, slamming the table chair nearly toppling. Consider your words. Have you thought about the consequences? I crossed my arms, bored. Then please enlighten me. Caroline hissed, you'll lose friendship with all noble families. I laughed. Airship explosion, assassination attempt. Friendship was never in the picture. You, Caroline screamed. Are you offending all-powerful female aristocrats? Suddenly, the doors swung open. Why wasn't I informed? A youthful voice demanded. Princess Marianne entered, petals falling, guests terrified. Caroline panicked, stammering apologies. Marianne dismissed Your Highness, calling herself a kid, and sat. She mentioned her mother and grandmother, the first princess and queen, passed too young. I introduced myself. Good day, Princess Marianne. Wenxin Li. Marianne called me a baby face, disappointed I wasn't a powerful woman. Just a kid? My eyebrow twitched. Caroline warned Marianne I was silver-tongued and rebellious, a bad influence. Something snapped inside me. A cold, biting fury flooded my veins. A lady gasped. The teacup sat innocent, but the tea was a jagged, frozen mess. Ice expanded. With a sharp, echoing crack, a memory flashed. Boys at the grand table, me with the aunts. The injustice stung, met by mother's stern face. Kids shouldn't ask too much. Rules are rules. Other women called girls rebellious. Maintaining a cage of etiquette. Wenxin saw the cold logic. No in-laws without following rules. This is ridiculous. She discriminates against, yet upholds these rules. A sharp heat ran up my spine, transforming into a piercing chill. My hand acted, clenching my fist. The air turned brittle. Caroline lectured, smug and superior. Choose partners carefully. Beware. Those lacking etiquette, you never know what they're up to. Bam! Slammed my palm onto the table. A massive, jagged ice spike erupted, tearing across table. Karen, Marianne, and the nobles stared in pure terror. I sat, having turned the tea party into an Arctic wasteland. Teacups exploded. Crack. Crack. Jagged ice shards reached skyward. What did I do? My emotion had literally burst, turning water into ice. Caroline shrieked. She's casting attack. Spells! Get her! A pale butler sprinted toward the gazebo. I ignored them. A realization dawned. Water elemental magic. Dangerous smirk spread. Why do I feel so excited? The butler pleaded. Please stop what you're doing. I didn't stop. I pressed both hands onto the table. Evening lamps glow in princess chambers. Maids whisper outside, worried about her late night reading. Xianxian hushes them, knowing Wenxin needs this quiet peace. Wenxin is sprawled inside, engrossed in a thick book. She reads about Queen Isabella, a literal goddess. Among mortals, Isabella's history is staggering. At 17, she passed landmark bills. At 18, her spiritual magic awakened. Her popularity soared, eclipsing her brother. At 19, she was duchess, princess, mother of the kingdom. At 20, the public forced her onto the throne. Wenxin peeks over the book. Face pale, this woman excelled at everything. Domestic, foreign policy. She overthrew conservatives, started an industrial revolution, and ended 100 years' war. She died, leaving a world-dominating kingdom. Wenxin sweats, overwhelmed. This a career. Demotion if I fail, she thinks. The queen expects too much. Panic. Wenxin hides in her duvet like a burrito. The waking world fades to ethereal. She walks barefoot on a stone path through blooming flowers. Is this Queen Isabella's soul? Garden, she wonders. The legendary Queen Isabella appears, draped in lavender silk. Princess Wenxin Li. Isabella says, please catch this. A jagged purple amethyst fragment floats, glowing. Wenxin reaches out, trembling. It merges directly into her forehead. A jolt of energy snaps through her. What was that glowing? Wenxin gasps. He likes me for my honesty. My cheeks burn. This was intense. I just wanted to survive, not trigger a shujo. Confession. Li short-circuited, face sunset red, stammering. He fought his tongue. I don't No, I do. Total breakdown. I realize my mistake. Asked out of order. Heart pounding. I asked, do you like me? Leon, his blush nuclear. He whispered, I like you. I adore you. And it's because of my honest right, he muffled. Yes, my heart beats fast. For you, his intense gaze. Wenxin, you saw the real me. You care, it makes me happy. I want you to feel the same. I'm young, but my thoughts of making you happy grow daily. Little Leon was too sincere, too cute, no marriage. Thoughts. I have bigger fish to fry, my new psychic power. I saw his past, I can see past and future now. An absurd past. Silence returned, heavy with his confession. Leon stood. Well, Wenxin, I should get going. Oh, okay, I squeaked. He halted at the door. You don't have to answer now, he said, eyes determined. I will prove myself. Answer me then. He walked away. I watched him go. Young Leon was responsible and caring. Shan, warm, soft waves cradled me. The world finally stilled. Consciousness drifted into blurry, piercing scenes. Fragments of a past life. Avis, your highness echoed. I saw a young Avis, alone in a garden, reading a thick book. A maid asked why he never played with others. He closed his book. They are not interested, he replied, his voice too heavy. I felt his deep isolation, his unanswerable questions. He sought solace only in books. Years passed. He grew, accepting humans are born alone. His heart became a fortress. Then he saw Tho's eyes, bold, fearless, piercing his soul. His purple gaze flared with profound recognition. The vision shattered. My eyes snapped open. I was in a luxurious bed. Avis watched me intently. Our eyes met. He flushed, jumping up flustered. Did I wake you? He stammered. Where am I? I croaked. A magical hangover pounding. Avis looked pained, struggling to speak. You listen to me. He strained. Headache, I interrupted, describing his exact symptoms. He froze, shocked. How do you know? My mother had them, he admitted somberly. Please close your eyes. He pulled out a glowing, ancient book. He chanted. Magic filled the air. He touched my forehead. A magic circle flared. Relief was instant. My headache vanished. He explained his mother's protective magic. Feeling better? He asked, his eyes soft, a new warmth. The mirror didn't lie. It flattered. I wore a lavender silk gown, a botanical masterpiece. Across the room, Avis stared, forgetting how to breathe. His face flushed pink. He stood in awkward silence. No comeback, just a deer in headlights. You fit my mother's dress, he stammered, hiding his blush. What a poor excuse, but you compared many dresses, Marianne chirped, appearing like chaos. Avis instantly clamped, her mouth, eyes darting in panic. He wrestled his composure back. Princess Wenxin Li, he said, voice smooth again. Do I have the honor of inviting you to dinner? I smiled. I should be honored. Not every day I dress like a goddess. Dinner prep was a whirlwind. Avis barked orders like a general. This was an event. The table gleamed with linen and candles. Marianne sparkled. Avis sat stiffly. I like Flower Kingdom decorations, Marianne said, clapping. Beads that swing. That's a tassel, I told her. I'll get you a costume next time. Really? She squealed, vibrating with, you're so kind. Avis watched, silent. I asked Marianne about history, books from my kingdom. Her expression fell. I like them, but girls should play piano, not read useless books. Useless. My internal monologue barked. Are you kidding me? You should read, I said firmly. The herald announced King Edward's arrival. He stepped forward, dignified, with little Marianne. I watched the situation's weight settling in. Avis was composed, but tension filled the air. The king had an unexpected, weary kindness. His gaze met Avis's, then drifted to me. I felt like a bug under a microscope. He explained Marianne had followed Avis again. He came personally to retrieve the runaway. Marianne looked sheepish, yet curious about me. Princess Wenxin Li, he asked. Are you feeling better? I curtsied. Just a minor discomfort, Your Majesty. Much better. Edward smiled, turning to Avis. Looks like Avis takes good care of you. You did well. Avis replied coolly, it's our job to care for the princess. The king praised Ava's dedication. Even Marianne relied on him. He prepared to depart, then paused, solemn. Princess Wenxin Li, he began gravely. Tomorrow, your work as the mother will begin. What? I'm getting a promotion to kingdom, Mom. Be kind. Use your power to bring healing to the people. Heal an entire nation? I can barely use a fork. Avis watched, his eyes unreadable. The royal carriage pulled away into the night. Marianne asked, will she be mother like grandmother? King Edward said, a good woman can be good support. He imagined her gaining popularity, becoming mother of the kingdom. Meanwhile, back at the manor, chaos erupted in Avis's study. Papers flew, books overturned, ink spilled violently. Avis stared, simmering with frustration. Rumors spread, Duke Avis uses powerful magic now. He's surpassing the king. Does His Majesty not care? Avis slammed his fists, trembling with contained power. Papers swirled, then shredded in a violent burst. The next day, I was officially on the clock, decked out. I faced a line of citizens for blessings. Your black and white cat is in the cellar with dried fish. The woman's face transformed into pure awe. Your husband's money is under the bed. Your child's measles will recover. What kind of job is this? I'm a glorified lost and found. The villagers cheered. Our mother is truly amazing. A hooded figure stepped forward, voice chillingly calm. Our mother, please look into my eyes. I leaned in, then stared into crimson eyes. Pupils etched with a glowing red hexagram. The world vanished. I was caught in a black torrent. Dark vines and blood-red roses surged around me. I am strength. A voice hissed. Absolute strength. I can give you power, wealth, anything you want. Bewitch minds, look young forever. Control life and death. Don't you want to get to the top, princess? Control everything. A vision of a crowned queen flashed before me. Just let me tear down your halo and enter your realm. My eyes began to reflect the red hexagram. Don't look her in the eyes. The church doors crashed open. Avis stood there, shouting. I blinked, the spell snapping, and grabbed the stranger's arm. Quick shortcuts to desires are a lie. That's a trap. To depravity. Frost crept from my fingertips. Crack. Ice raced up the stranger's arm, encasing them. The entity glared through the frost with pure hatred. Avis gripped my wrist, pulling me back to shield me. Avis burst in, coat billowing like wings. He yanked me out of danger, spinning me through air. I fell, but he caught me in a firm embrace. His pierced eyes mine. The world narrowed. White lilies and light framed us. My heart skipped. The moment snapped. Avis unleashed his power. Glowing chains erupted, lashing the cloaked woman. She cried out, pinned to the ground. Lock her up. Avis commanded. Cold guards scrambled, rushing to secure her. Keep her under control, he added, hand on my shoulder. I'm sorry, he whispered, his tone shifting. I came late. He looked at me with genuine concern. Shall we find a safe place? I nodded. Stunned, he led me to a quiet parlor, tea steaming. Avis explained, we all have halo, increased spirituality, brightens it. This is the awakening. How does the Flower Kingdom handle it? Asked. That's a blind spot. Duke Avis, I admitted. He looked guilty. I should have cared for your feelings. You don't have to be careful. I waved. He warned, be more careful during awakening. Your bright halo attracts dark creatures. They will covet you, absorb your energy. Are they, I asked, chilled creatures of negativity, resentment, hatred? They exist in a parallel. My golden eyes snapped open. Not my bed. Blue flame swirled in a crystal ball. A dark, forgotten chamber. Fire pulsed like a heartbeat, a glowing red hexagram, cold stone altar, flickering candles. An ancient voice hissed, foolish. Glowing white eyes appeared in the star. They stared through me. My reflection flickered beside it, a girl caught by a predator. The entity mocked me. Foolish girl, it sneered. Darkness swelled, swallowing light. A booming threat. You will pay. I jolted awake. The vision fractured. The queen stood before me. Her face showed concern. She asked what I saw. I struggled for words. Shadows in the fire, I whispered. My mind reeled. I described the altar. An oppressive weight, a trap. The queen leaned in. Her purple eyes searched mine. She asked what I felt. Malice. I said pure malice. Not a random threat. Someone planned a strike. She nodded solemnly. Remember this. Through a medium, be vigilant. Twice as vigilant. My situation was precarious. More than I knew. Princess from the east. She called me. Be careful. She faded into mist. Wait, Your Majesty, I cried. Where do I find a medium? She gave a cryptic smile. Don't you have a mirror? The world shattered. I sat bolt upright. My heart hammered. Mirror? Word felt heavy. No time to ponder, I shouted for my maids. Xianchen and Liu Shuang hurried in. Still sleepy. They brought an ornate bronze mirror, yawning. Leave it, I said. I needed silence. I hadn't seen this mirror. Not since becoming Wenxin Li. I stared at the mirror. Could it project images? I leaned closer. Golden eyes caught light. The mirror ignited, blinding white gold light. I shielded my face. Too bright. Panic rose. I was yanked away. Weightless, I fell. Through a purple void. My hair whipped around me, plummeting to a new vision. I hit the vision's floor. The altar, candle, blue flame. Not alone this time. A figure in a green cloak knelt. The entity lectured the cloaked figure. Angels degrade from human food. It asked how to seal a goddess's energy. The cloaked figure understood. Taint her food? Blue flame flared. Yes, taint her. I watched, invisible, horrified. They wanted to seal my abilities, strip my power. I saw my downfall choreographed. A god's perspective. The mirror was powerful. Not a dream, but surveillance. Who was the cloaked person? The Flower Kingdom was mentioned. The scene shifted. Heard talk of a Flower Kingdom dictionary. I reached out. My hand passed through the wall. Spirit state, I can go anywhere. I drifted through stone. A maid gave a book to Ryan. I recognized him. He hurried off. I was haunting the Earl's manor. He sat at a desk, obsessively flipping the dictionary. He began to write. Li. He muttered. He wrote Wenxin Li, a doting smile. He whispered about the beautiful name. A lead, not a crush. The vision snapped shut. Back in my room. The vision ended. I was back, but changed. My eyes hardened. I knew who at the altar. Strong hands cupped my face. Avis was here. Fury and worry. He pulled me into his chest, firm, grounding. Just lean on me, he murmured. I was stunned. I leaned on him. A strange heat. White glow from his hand. Black smoke dragged from my body. It hissed and vanished. I breathed again. The filth was gone. Avis wasted no time. His face hardened. Pure authority. Get the chef, he barked. Tension filled the room. My maid protested. Food is tested for poison. We're careful. Avis ignored her. The food is not poison, he said. He looked at me. It was a curse to seal my magic. On food from the king. No one would question it. Avis's eyes flashed. I'll find this traitor. He ordered the chef taken. The chef was dragged out, wailing. The entity's words echoed. Taint her. Seal her abilities. I looked at the chef, then Avis. Let him go, I said. The chef likely had no idea. I thought of the timeline. My vision was last night. Not much time to curse me. Impossible to bribe a chef so fast. The answer was simpler. I eyed the strawberry cake. Not the food, but the person who touched it. I noticed something, I said. The guards paused. Mr. Chef, your left wrist? He pulled back his sleeve. My suspicions confirmed. A black, cursed brand on his wrist. The curse was in his hands. The food was poisoned. The rot had to start with the chef. A swirling, oily black mist clung to his left arm, pulsing with malice. This was ground zero. The chef looked confused. He saw nothing. Only I could see the spectral stain. It was the third eye, my supernatural radar screaming. Something was wrong. Mr. Chef, I said, roll up your sleeve. He stammered. Nothing's there. Princess. He pulled back his sleeve, revealing a jagged, circular sigil glowing on his arm. It was a brand centered on an angry red scratch. The chef shrieked in terror. I was scratched by a black cat this morning, he gasped. A cat? Duke Avis's voice cut through. He stepped forward, eyes sharp. The chef recounted the attack. A black cat lunged from a windowsill. The brand told a darker story. It had piercing red eyes, he whispered. I saw it too. Those red eyes held a glowing hexagram. This wasn't a cat. It was a familiar. Avis reached out. Violet light erupted, analyzing the corruption. Mysterious. Magic, Avis muttered grimly. It spread from then to food, a precision strike targeting me. It would seal my energy, locking away my powers. Dark forces have awakened because of you, he said. Great curse. Target number 1. Avis looked worried. He ordered a security overhaul, changing all. A master chef stood before me. The Duke hired him for a fortune. The Flower Kingdom's top chef called it an honor to serve. Me, I was just stunned. He rattled off a dream menu. Dumpling, rice cakes, iced jelly. From fugitive to personal Michelin star snack machine. My head spun with all the dishes. Avis personally tested every recipe. He even cast a protective spell on the chef's hands. Food would always be safe from dark magic. My heart flipped. He remembered my casual words. My fleeting thoughts became a fortified reality. Across the palace, Avis was far from stoic. He unbuttoned his shirt, shadowed by heavy conflict. He whispered he was cursed, fighting his yearning. Be carefree, he thought, clenching his fist. A soft knock broke silence. A servant announced my food box. Avis sat surprised. He opened the box. Delicate mooncakes and my letter. His gaze softened, reading my words. I told him to stay warm and thanked him for his help. The snacks were a gift for good dreams. Avis stared, eyes shimmering with affection and surrender. While he obsessed, I pondered my linguistic genius. Wenxin Li's body held all her language skills. Mastering the script was a breeze for this language nerd. The upcoming poetry reading, a walk in the park. Our dreams began to intertwine. Avis saw me in a sun. Avis says Princess Wenxin making my skin prickle. He warns me to watch my step in this court of landmines. Then he invites me for a walk, his handsome smile knowing. Before I can answer, Princess Marianne crashes in, hugging me tight. I miss you. Come with us, she begs, a literal human puppy. She's too cute, I agree. Despite Ava's watchful eyes, Marianne grabs my hand, chirping about a gift she made for me. Avis promises her a gift too, his tone paternal. We walk towards the venue, Avis's intense gaze a constant shadow. At the seating, Marianne transforms in the Eastern dress. I gifted her. She's overjoyed, asking if the tassel was made just for her. I confirm, smiling at her delight, making my staff's hard work worth it. We sit next to Avis, a seating choice noticed by whispering nobles. They question my presence, already painting a target on my back. Caroline, in purple, approaches, disdainful of the seating. Oblivious, interrupts. Princess Wenxin, my gift. She offers a box of shell-shaped pastries she made. My heart stops. Dark, swirling mist oozes from them. My eyes widen. This isn't a snack. It's a trap. I catch Caroline's triumphant flicker. It's no coincidence. Marianne, innocent, offers a piece, miscoiling around her fingers. Avis then casually says, Marianne wouldn't let him try it. He leans in. Wenxin asks Avis for a favor, hiding her unease. She proposes a cultural tribute at the dinner party. Avis is intrigued, asking about her surprise. Wenxin smiles, agreeing with Caroline about tea. She explains mooncakes need green tea, not black. A maid pours buluchun, the Flower Kingdom's famous tea. Its fragrant steam fills the air, unique with floral notes. The tea pours like liquid jade, leaving a sweet aftertaste. Marianne sips, her eyes sparkling with delight. Wow, it's true, she chirps, loving the subtle sweetness. Even grumpy nobles are impressed by the tea. Avis admits the tea has a very elegant taste. He questions why he's never heard of it before. Wenxin claims humility is their kingdom's virtue, making products hard to spread. Avis studies her, but Caroline's venomous voice cuts in. Caroline accuses her humility of being an excuse for incompetence. She rages, challenging their agricultural civilization and ancient claims. Wenxin keeps her sharp smile, turning back to the emperor. She makes another suggestion. Their chef prepare an oriental feast. Caroline barks, accusing Wenxin of rudeness. Wenxin calmly accepts, with a twist. They'll incorporate spontaneous poems into the menu, proving their civilization. Marianne breaks the tension, eager to make the first poem. She recites a poem about delicate white flowers. Wenxin claps, genuinely charmed. I saw it again, a black, bat-shaped creature near Caroline's ear, with a glowing red eye and unsettling aura pulsed around it. Caroline smiled, but her eyes were sharp, predatory. Her voice, sweet but poison, the bat thing fluttered. No one else could see it, only me. Avis watched, his eyes sharp. I played it cool, letting Caroline go first. She stood, the bat hovering like a dark halo. She recited a poem, sharp as a blade. One who digs a hole will fall into it, she declared, staring at me, no hiding the insults now. Her eyes flashed green with envy. Flowers, with elegant masks might be, strangeness in disguise. Beware the thorny trap, the bat's red eye flared, a dark magic circle pulsed behind her. A low, persistent buzzing filled the air. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Hornets in my skull. My head hurt, thoughts scrambling. Her voice rang, disturbing my mind. Other guests rubbed their temples, expressions souring. The party atmosphere curdled. How can she sit next to His Majesty? A man whispered venomously. Did she use some weird trick? The magic was working. They were turning on me. I swayed, the world blurring with doubt. A hand steadied me. Avis. Princess Wenxin, he said, offering tea. Calm down, he leaned in. You can see it better than me, right? His eyes flicked to the shadow. Wenxin leaned back, tea steaming, facing skeptical nobles. In our Flower Kingdom, we have the frontier poem, she began, voice steady. She explained her kingdom never sought conquest, only protected its land. We fight with divine determination. Our war poems are all about the frontier. Caroline smirked. Was your kingdom defeated simply because of poor defense? Wenxin felt cold fury, gripping her teacup until it cracked. Shards scattered, tea swirling like a stormy sea in her hand. She took a deep breath, forcing herself to tolerate the disrespect. Miss Caroline, Wenxin's voice dropped. Have you heard? The greater the challenge, the greater the chance. She slammed the broken cup down, ceramic and ice magic scattered. The atmosphere transformed. It was an invocation, not just words. Billowing smoke from the west, where the Han army is stationed, she recited. Guests gasped, feeling transported to a cold, wind-swept battlefield. She rose, her presence filling the space like a clarion call. The general led the troop west. At dawn, hear the trumpet. Drums of war rise like snow and waves. 3 armies shout, the mountain shakes, confusion and awe dawned. Great heroes are never lacked. History is made every day. The silence was deafening. Guests heard metal clash, felt chills. Even burly Earl Howard looked unsettled by her powerful words. Wenxin continued, painting the scene, her voice a force of nature. 3 armies will shout, the mountain will shake. Today's achievements will be glorious. She turned to Caroline. Our flower kingdom faces crisis. I don't deny it. But people always rise to solve problems. History proves this. Guests whispered, mockery replaced by budding respect for her culture. Earl Howard sputtered, "You are. Enough is enough." The Emperor's powerful voice cut him off. Howard froze, shrinking under the Emperor's stern, final gaze. Princess Wenxin Li, the Emperor said, a genuine smile appearing. Your culture is unlike the stereotype. I'm interested in trade. Visit often. I have questions. Don't spare your advice. Wenxin blinked, surprised. Did I just secure a trade deal with a poem? Avis looked visibly nervous, hand twitching as the Emperor favored her. Wenxin's maid whispered. Wenxin smiled warmly. Your Majesty, allow me to honor you with delicious Eastern food. Chefs appeared with silver-dome platters. Avis subtly scanned for shadow threats. First, chrysanthemum hot pot. A vibrant yellow flower bloomed in broth. Nutritious soup for your Majesty's health. The Emperor looked intrigued. Wenxin turned to the troublemakers. Next, for Earl Howard and Miss Caroline. Her smile was pointed. Flames of war over mountain. Braised pork meatballs. The Earl stared, pale, knowing the link. He had to take a bite. The Emperor sipped his soup, satisfied. Continue last dessert. White clouds in spring. Snow fungus pear stew with kumquats. Princess Marianne tasted it first, declaring it so delicious. Guests praised the cuisine. Wenxin watched, a soft, genuine smile. She had turned the tide. Avis watched her glow. His exclusive possession vanished. He truly saw her. As long as she's happy, she deserves everything. Her contentment matters. He sat on the grass near her, regal composure replaced by peace. Wenxin teased, how can a gentleman sit on the floor? Your image. Avis looked up. Avis sat on the grass, confused by my commoner posture. How can a gentleman sit on the floor? He asked, worried about my image. I just smiled. A grass stain was the least of my problems. He looked like a lost puppy, a funny change for him. He called me princess again, but I was tired of formalities. Leon and Ryan call me Wenxin, I pouted. But you never do. After all we'd faced, he still treated me like glass. You're so uniquely formal, I teased him gently. We sat in the garden's private sanctuary. He muttered about not damaging my image like he supposedly did. Call me Wenxin, I insisted, offering a bribe, private tea, if he could just say my name correctly. Silence. Avis looked like he was performing complex mental math. His eyes softened. He mentioned my delicious pastries. Will I taste them again at the tea? Wenxin, he finally asked. A genuine spark hit my chest. I promised to make them myself, just for him. He looked relieved, a small, rare thanks escaping him. It was a quiet, sweet victory. The garden peace didn't last. Back at the palace, the atmosphere was stifling. The Emperor questioned Avis about escorting me. Avis didn't hesitate, asking to be entrusted with the task. The Emperor fell silent, his gaze sharp and unreadable. He agreed, but with a condition: I must appear on time. Avis accepted it like a sacred vow. Meanwhile, Earl Howard and Caroline seethed with resentment. It's frustrating, Father. Caroline scowled, face twisted. A dark omen, a red eye with bat wings, hovered above them. Thorns and roses tangled, reflecting their poisonous spite. I ignored their drama. I had a date to prepare for. I skipped sleep, learning to make mooncakes from the chef. My hands were tired, but the perfect pastries were worth it. Avis arrived. I served him with a flourish. Have a taste, Your Highness. Avis. I grinned mischievously. We sat in the lush garden, tea laid out for 2. He looked surprised at the empty chairs. He thought I'd invited other guests. Stunned it was just him. Yes, I confirmed. We've both worked too hard. I chose a calming tea blend for his nerves. Did you sleep well these days, Avis? I asked, noticing his shadows. His gaze drifted, memories flickering. He hadn't slept well. He feared waking to endless darkness, praying for dreamless sleep in vain. My heart ached. What kind of dreams? I asked softly. He looked at me intensely. Want to see my dream? He whispered. My trembling hand touched his forehead. The world shifted. I saw his dream, a peaceful future, us in bed, children playing. He spoke of building kingdoms, then promised, whatever you want, I'll do it with you, I swear. The vision faded. Tears welled. Avis, do you really believe we can have that? He said nothing. His fingers grazed my ear, then traced my jaw and cupped my head. I held my breath, heart pounding. The tension was thick. Avis's eyes, usually guarded, clouded with raw emotion. He looked at me intensely, his scent filling my senses. My heart thumped. Then, the spell snapped. His eyes widened in sudden panic. He stood abruptly, backing away stiffly. I didn't expect it so soon, he stammered, voice cracking. He bowed his head, ears crimson. I'm sorry, disrespectful. He turned and vanished into the garden. I stood, blinking. He treated a near kiss like a declaration of war. I sighed, frustrated, touching my neck. Liu Shuang appeared, asking about dinner plans inside. Evis hunched by the window, looking defeated. She won't want me for dinner now, he said. His melodrama was insulting. Liu Shuang, leave us. Everyone else, too. Don't let anyone near this room. I approached him. He looked fearful, despite his noble bearing. Why? Asked. Why would I be offended? He looked down. You said you'd marry anyone but me. He apologized, hand twitching. I stepped closer, pulling him into an embrace. I didn't understand then, I told him softly. I didn't know I'd find someone like you. My snarky thoughts went quiet. A lady-in-waiting screamed, His Majesty, unconscious. The crown is one heartbeat from crisis. I was comfy on Ava's lap, but our moment was cancelled. Ava's instantly becoming the Duke in charge. Let's go to the pal, I said, fixing my diplomatic face. I'll go with you. A sudden fit with magic and just the fluke. Ava's looked at me, grim and grateful. Inside the palace, King Edward lay lifeless in his bed. Officials hovered, whispering he fainted for no reason. No medical issues, but he won't wake, they said. It might be spiritual, they hoped. Looking to Avis, Your Highness has the strongest magic power. I felt the stagnant, breathless air around the king. Avis's face fell helpless. I can't, he admitted. I'm air elemental magic. I can't heal him spiritually. My hand found his. I have water element magic, I reminded. Water is the element of life and spirit. I could dive into his mind. His Majesty is your brother. Duke Avis, I said. He is my family too, I whispered. I had to have. My mind screamed that idea, but I couldn't stand by. I had to prove. My title was earned, not just a pretty face. I placed my hand on Edward's forehead. His skin, silence pressed in. Magic drained me. My mind raced. Warm arms embrace me from behind. Froze. Avis leaned in, his voice a tired rasp. He couldn't sleep. I expected a lecture, but he spoke of his brother. Avis held me tighter, his scent grounding me. King Edward was earnest, but carried profound guilt. For the Earl's daughter, he couldn't share a room with his queen for years. After Anna's death, Marianne was born 5 years later. The queen fell into deep depression. The Earl's family was domineering, yet Edward considered Ryan a dukedom. Avis clarified, Edward wasn't weak, he just couldn't let go. A ghost memory. Avis looked away, pained. He knew Edward's miserable, self-sacrificing plan. Avis turned me, hands on my shoulders. Looking into my eyes, he asked if I understood my effect on people. My heart tap dance. He called me a ray of light, his fingers brushing my hair. He confessed my existence made people lose control. He wished he'd never seen me. He leaned closer, whispering no one would see my light if we hadn't met. He looked possessed. Speaking of a king reaching for the light, he whispered my name. Wenxin, the world stopped. He touched my cheek, asking if he treated me well enough. He seemed haunted. His intense eyes searched for an answer. Then he left. I blinked sleep from my eyes, staring at the empty space. The room felt colder, but the scent of fresh blooms lingered. My breath hitched. Flowers scattered the white linen, and a letter rested there. I sat up, reaching for the parchment. My fingers trembled as I unfolded it. Wenxin, it began. You are like a little bird. When you curled in my arms, the world became smaller. A strange warmth bloomed. I thought protecting you was enough. I heard his velvety voice. The letter revealed Ava's hidden side. If you want to be an eagle, I'll fly with you. If you want to rest, I will build a garden for you. I will put flowers at your bedside every dawn. Sign, your faithful and only, Avis. I pressed the paper to my face. This man was going to be the death of me. Pink roses. Poetic. But who puts wet flowers on silk laundry feet? Your Highness. My eyes snapped open. The mirror pulsed with a rhythmic, golden glow. I approached the desk. The light intensified, dissolving the room into haze. Was I being pulled in again? The world flipped. Avis's roses vanished. Cold air and ancient incense replaced them. My heart hammered. I was in an oriental palace. Flower kingdom? Wenxin, a voice thundered. How dare you stand before your father? I froze. A man in ornate robe, a concubine with narrowed eyes. Father? The word felt wrong. Why am I here? The concubine snapped. How could you dress so casually? I was in a nightgown. The emperor dismissed her. Summoned her back with the mirror. Hurry, before the twin mirror connection breaks. Twin mirror. My confusion grew. What on earth was it? The concubine explained. 2 connected mirrors. They shine during birth of stars. Owners can open a passage. Time is limited. 1 hour with you. So, a backdoor between worlds. But what was birth of stars? The emperor leaned in. Change in the primary star. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Become queen of their kingdom. Rejuvenate ours. This is your mission. Mission? I almost laughed. Seduce a king. The concubine sighed. A man's heart? I smirked. I've never lacked that. Whose heart I win is up to me. And the amethyst. The emperor started. The concubine shrieked. Kneel before your father. I'm an eagle, not a caged bird. My knees are stiff, I can't kneel. The light reclaimed me. Staring at my father, I couldn't kneel. My refusal shocked the emperor. His fury grew. The consort stared, pale with disbelief. The old, obedient princess was gone. My soul had seen too much to bend. The palace faded into a cosmic void. Avis taught me I have wings for storms. My wings were growing, terrifying yet exhilarating. I wouldn't be a captive bird. Avis called me an eagle. His gaze showed me a vast world. Dark wings unfurled, shedding glowing feathers. I was a predator, unbound and lethal. A voice shattered the silence. I woke at my desk, back to reality. Xianchen, my maid, worriedly urged me awake. Xianchen, I mumbled. I picked up a pink envelope, sealed and warm. Send this to Duke Avis, I said, blushing. It was a risky, unnamed declaration. Xianchen bolted, letter in hand. Princess has a letter for Duke Avis, she chirped. Liu Shuang's eyes popped out. I hid my face, regretting my choice. Morning moved fast. Avis came early. Xianchen reported he'd been waiting outside. I rushed to the window. Avis was there. He stared at my letter, mesmerized. A maid offered him shelter from the wind. Avis didn't look up. The lighting is good. He wanted to read it a few more times. I saw a subtle flush on his cheek. Avis was blushing, vulnerable among blossoms. Our eyes met as I descended. I can be a little bird too, I thought, smiling. We were ushered into a carriage. Something felt different, I mused. Avis sat silent, his gaze intense. His heavy gaze held unspoken words. He slowly reached out his hand. I hesitated, then placed my hand in his. He kissed my knuckles, eyes closed. My heart somersaulted wildly. My little bird, he murmured, let me protect you. I pulled back, seeing a glowing on my palm. The mark shimmered, a secret I couldn't decode. The king summoned me to his study. I entered, robes trailing. I immediately launched into a discourse on agriculture. Our policy needed reconciliation. The king watched me, unreadable. Your Majesty, I asked. He praised my knowledge, calling me here eligible. He noted my kingdom's lack of female education. He smiled, saying the rumor wasn't true. My inner self sweat. They saw me as a vase. You made your kingdom proud, the king said. He invited me to try palace tea. A servant brought tea. I recognized Baluachin. The king explained new trade with my kingdom. It's all because of you. He leaned in, promising me the throne. You shall be the queen. I froze. This escalated too fast. He offered me a throne, not just trade. Princess Wenxin, a favor? He asked. He pointed to a globe. He asked about territory. I agreed, slipping into my princess persona. I traced the globe, explaining our limits. Princess, he whispered. He was suddenly behind me. He clamped his hand over mine on the globe. You are pointing at the wrong location. Snap. Red energy exploded. A crimson magic circle erupted, the Eye of Morris. I was thrown back, gasping. My hand mark glowed white-hot, pushing darkness. Did its power repel the king? The king clutched his face, magic dissipating. I stammered, unsure what to do. The king groaned. What was that shock? It awakened coma memories. The Eye of Morris. How did it wake from the abyss? The king clutched his head, magic finally fading. He looked rough, muttering about shock and fragmented memories of the Eye of Morris. I offered water, playing the concerned guest, my mark staying quiet. Avis stood nearby, a brooding statue. Why was I irritated? His gaze bothered me. The king launched into a history lesson about water magic and light. A prophecy foretold the kingdom's prosperity through powerful water magic. Then, the bomb, a marriage alliance. My eyes narrowed. Panic set in. I cut him off, changing the subject. What exactly is this Eye of Morris? I asked. The king grew grave, noting my stable mind, rare for most. Darkness influenced people, he explained, behind foods and cups. The Eye of Morris was a life form of extreme negativity. I pictured its red, pulsating glow and slit pupils. The universe split into light and darkness at its inception. Angels were children of light. Morris ruled the underworld. They observed and invaded human mental systems. So, Queen Isabella, his mother, was a child of light, yes, the kingdom's redeemer, he confirmed. 2 ancient mirrors shone brightly whenever a star was born. It clicked. The queen's dreams, her strange tasks. She was adjusting my frequency. She knew all along. I was just like her, a child of light. The king sighed, surprised the Eye of Morris returned. He noticed my silence. I feigned tiredness. He urged me to rest, genuinely grateful for our chat. I walked away, head spinning with all the lore. The king called guards, brooding on his mother's words. He ordered a dowry for the Flower Kingdom. Ryan appeared, far too cheerful, asking about my hair. My water magic flared, shocking him when he reached out. I gave him my broken necklace, asking him to fix it. I shoved Avis, realizing the mark didn't react. Any man other than you can't touch me, right? I asked. I stepped closer, my voice cold. I hate being controlled, you hear me? I confronted Avis, eyes narrowed, knowing the mark's true nature. It was a high-tech ankle monitor, a tool of control. So, no man but you can touch me? I demanded, voice icy. I hated being controlled. You hear me? Avis stood stunned, his violet eyes searching mine. I turned on my heel, skirt swishing defiantly, and marched away. His heavy gaze lingered. Words caught in his throat. Good. My mind seethed. Why are men so obsessed with possession? Protection always means ownership to them. Suddenly, I was back in my past life, a memory hitting hard. Two smug guys at a desk. Her, you got the prettiest girl. It's so easy, the other chuckled. I posted a photo. Everyone thinks she's taken. Audacity. My past snatched his phone. Delete. Slammed confirm, deleting photo forcefully. Why are you deleting my post? He whined. I'm deleting my own photos. I snapped, staring him down. His entitled rant followed. Why dinner if not interested? Don't lead me on. She misbehaves. We must tell everyone what she's like. The memory dissolved. It was just a meal. Why must I be someone's possession? I rejected signing away my autonomy. I leaned against the wall, feeling the weight of my situation. Avis wasn't trying to lock me away. He just hoped I wouldn't leave. His sincere, desperate hope was almost annoying. That night, I slept deeply, finally at peace. Avis held my hand, his warmth a steady anchor in my dreams. I drifted in a sea of stars, then heard Princess Wenxin. It was the late Queen Marianne, radiant and calm. I was stunned. She smiled. I told you I taught him well, making me flush. I admitted he wasn't a disaster I'd thought. Would you mind a walk? She asked, extending her arm. I couldn't say no to her powerful, boss lady energy. We strolled through her vast, incredible soul garden. I create borderless beauty in my spiritual realm, she said. She cultivated great spiritual strength, and I could too. I felt a spark of hope, or maybe just a lot of homework. The material world hones your spirit manifesting ability. My spirit manifesting ability? I echoed, surprised. She reared a flower instantly, then made it bloom again. This is manifesting ability, she declared, controlling reality. It controls the timeline, choosing the best outcome. But her face grew serious. Your enemies are worse than you think. The Eye of Morris feeds on negativity, poisoning minds. It guides you to the gates of hell if you're not careful. Believe in your heart's light or be consumed. Light and darkness are eternal on two different paths. Optimism brings victory. Negativity lets creatures bury you alive. The Eye of Morris will stimulate your negative thoughts. Always maintain your confidence. Know who you are. Use your manifesting ability in the next challenge. You will get the last amethyst fragment, which shows everything. As the dream blurred, Marianne had one last favor. Kiss my son for me and tell him he's been doing great. I woke to pink roses. Ava's asleep beside me, exhausted. He'd picked them early to keep his promise. You're right, Your Majesty, I whispered, then hugged Avis. You don't have to hide your excellence with me. You've been doing great. Avis froze, wondering how I knew his heart's desires. Queen Marianne's voice soothed me. Sleep, my baby, there's still time. I drifted in blissful semi-consciousness, tangled in silk and warmth. We were curled together, a steady heartbeat against my back. Then, the sun decided to be rude, along with Liu Shuang's chirping. Princess, you're later than usual, she called, too energetic. My eyes snapped open. Liu Shuang's we have a guest chirping meant she was about to burst. In, I bolted upright. Avis. He was still here. In my bed. I screamed internally. He looked far too comfortable. If Liu Shuang walked in, it would be a monarchy-breaking scandal. Princess, hurry and greet the guest. Liu Shuang's voice neared. Wait, I flailed, grabbing the divot. Get up, Avis. Move those Duke-level muscles. Instead, Avis leaned in, wrapping his arms around my waist. Thank you, he murmured. I've never slept so sweetly, so safe. He looked smugly content while I saw stars. Quickly, transport back to your mansion. I pleaded, pushing him. I know, he sighed lazily, pulling away with agonizing slowness. I scrambled up, fixing my hair. Who's the guest? It's young Master Ryan, Liu Shuang announced. Avis froze. The room temperature dropped. His back went rigid. Ryan offers a daisy box. His expression warm. He presents the fixed, beaded accessory I asked for. Please check. If it's fine, he says. My heart does a nervous tap dance. He's so sweet. It'd be rude not to take it. My fingers tremble reaching for the gift. A memory flashes. Ryan holding me. Why do you always know what I want? Wonder. It's infuriating how he sees through me. Reality crashes back. I avert my gaze. Burden. Ryan, I'm not well, I mutter, seeking escape. The universe wasn't done with. A booming voice shatters. Our moment. His Majesty sent gifts for Princess Wenxin Li. Eyes widen. Perfect timing. Duke. Avis strides in, far too composed for his jealousy. He's aristocratic calm, followed by a servant with gifts. His Majesty sent gifts. Avis announces, glaring. And to wish you a good day. Princess, the air turns to ice. Ryan stands, clenching the daisy box. I must defuse this bomb before a duel. I force a manic smile and turn to Ryan. Please give it to me, I chirp, reaching. The accessory you worked so hard on. Ryan, his face lights up, tension melting. Oh, sure, he replied, handing it over. Our hands meet. Avis stares into my head. He watches with narrowed eyes, his calm facade cracking. I take the, I wondered if his advice would offend the king. Lying in bed, my mind raced with royal rules and my safety. Then, a blinding flash of light seared my eyelids. My name, Wenxin Li, echoed sharply. Wenxin Li, be careful. I bolted upright, heart pounding. The world had shifted. My bed was gone, replaced by the cool air of a familiar palace. I stood in a thin nightgown, hair flowing, stars twinkled, but the air felt formal. The Flower Kingdom Palace. I was back in this nightmare dream. The Emperor boomed. Don't be arrogant. He stood before me, grave and greedy. No hello, just a lecture. The imperial astronomer reported the primary star's violet light. This was a divine sign, a golden chance for the kingdom's resurgence. It all depended on me, Wenxin Li, and my loyal me, in pajamas. The fate of a nation on my shoulders was absurd. The emperor's face twisted in rage. I owe you, he barked. He recited sexist lessons for women. Men are hard, women gentle. Women don't need brains, he droned. How'd I become so arrogant? Before I could react, an imperial concubine appeared, full of disdain. She blamed my indecent behavior on barbarian influence. Indecent? She glared, pointing at my scandalous nightgown. She eyed me like a rebel sign. Her voice dripped venom. Vulgar, rude, no respect. Tradition's heavy chains pressed in. Shameless, she called it. My brain just crashed. Enough. I turned to leave. Wenxin Li! What are you doing? The emperor screamed. I didn't answer. Magic swirled, sensing the mirror. A glowing gateway appeared. The emperor gasped. When did you learn that spell? I looked back. Cool. You underestimate your daughter, father. I know your game. You want a favor, but questioned my loyalty and character. She used virtues to disparage me. I knew their trap. Get me angry, manipulate me. I just laughed. They gaped. Honestly, I need sleep. Ask politely if you need a favor. I smiled sharply. Politeness gets things done, right? They froze. I repeated, ask politely. The portal crackled. How? The emperor sweated, bound by his own schemes. My politeness vanished. Ancestors died for this. You flee with her as enemies come. I glared. You're no emperor. He looked slapped, then to her. And you, a pawn currying favor. So low. If all women are like you, there's no peace. She paled, tears welling. Your Majesty, she cried, catching the staggering emperor. I watched, unimpressed. I know manipulation too. You teach lessons, expect them back. When, Wenxin Li, the emperor stammered. What do you want? I paused. I'm the key to the Flower Kingdom's destiny, aren't I? His eyes, Ryan's warning about the blue clothes still haunted me. My thoughts were a tangled mess, caught between sleep and reality. I reached out, feeling the cool sheets beside me. A ghost of a memory, a hand gently lifting my hair. I pictured Avis soft and guarded. But I woke up to a cold, empty space. Had he left? Then I saw them, fresh, sparkling white lilies on my bed. My heart flipped. He came back just to put flowers on my pillow. It was a simple promise, yet he kept perfectly. How could he be so pure, despite his toxic past? I covered my face, a sharp sting in my eyes. My past weighed on me, chains the emperor's finger, sneering faces. A world of shadows, yet he offered flowers. Why did I miss him? Avis, I whispered to the empty air. If only I could drop my ego, we could be closer. I missed him. I'm here, a voice murmured. The air shifted. Avis was there, wrapping me in a warm embrace, smelling of lilies. Call me when you miss me, he whispered. I'll always be here. We settled back into bed. His intense gaze searched mine. Crying because you miss me? He asked, smiling. Yes, I admitted. Bad dream, I miss you, babe. Avis froze, face crimson. Bah, babe, he looked utterly confused. I smirked. Yeah, babe. You're reliable. Can I call you that? His eyes widened, brain short-circuiting. Sue. Sure, he choked out, face burning. I leaned into his chest, hearing his frantic heart. Why no decent men before? This protection felt foreign, dizzying. Avis shit hand on my head. I know you lack confidence in men. I'm not like them. I'm better. I'll keep every promise. He grinned cheekily. Did I do something right for our Wenxin? I rolled my eyes, blushing, and snuggled deeper. He found it hilarious. Baby, I asked, what do I do when I have no idea? Avis grew serious, closing his eyes in thought. Endure, he said. My mother faced hard choices, never timid. She taught me there's no perfect choice, only risks. He looked at me. Believe in yourself completely. Strong faith guides reality. The world hones your spirit manifesting ability. My spirit manifesting ability? I repeated, mind racing. He withered a flower, then made it bloom again. This ability controls timelines. I stared, stunned. The queen in my dream said the same thing. My Wenxin has willpower. Avis smiled. You'll get the best result. I truly saw him. He didn't control me. Avis whispers I have willpower, his smile making my heart flip. He believes I'll always succeed. I blush, surprised by his gentle encouragement. No overbearing protector, just pure support. He pulls me into a warm hug, offering a bedtime story. I muffle an agreement. Avis radiates delight, squeezing me tighter. He thinks I'm cute. He begins a story. A beautiful mermaid loves a human prince. My eyes widen. The Little Mermaid? Even here, cliches persist. The mermaid seeks the sea witch for legs, but must sacrifice her voice. I hate this. Why do girls always sacrifice so much for love? Avis shifts the story. The mermaid refused the bad deal. My interest is piqued. He's a prince, but I'm a princess, she declared. He should come to me. Now that's a protagonist? Forget pining, let's talk logistics. The princess watched merchant ships, learning commerce. She built a powerful sea army. Protected by her army, she traded with humans. A vast commercial empire rose. I sit up wide-eyed. What happened next? I'm completely hooked. She became the Lord of the Sea. All traders must visit her underwater palace. But how do humans reach the seabed? I worry about the logistics. Don't underestimate sorcery. Avis winks. The prince needs a potion to become a mermaid. A shimmering pink vial. The prince transforms. Tables completely turn. At the palace, dressing room chaos. Ball deadline looming. My maid excitedly showed new gowns. Then she asked, hesitant, will you wear that dress? The blue dress, its mention, made my skin crawl. A gift from His Majesty, a shimmering cage. My eyes narrowed, defiance sparking. The king expected his pawn in his chosen colors. I wasn't buying. The maid's soothing words. Pure spite took hold. I'd rather offend the crown. Mrs. Jones entered, stern as ever. Then she spoke. You must insist, Your Highness. I froze. Mrs. Jones, breaking character. She instantly regretted it, hand flying to her mouth. I shouldn't have said that, she whispered, trembling. She begged forgiveness, trying to flee. Wait, I stopped her. You worked in the palace. Don't take it back. Let the old story be told. Her eyes reflected secrets. The dam broke 16 years ago. A glittering palace night. Ballroom hummed with finery. Lord Avis stood, brooding. Messenger approached. Princess has requests. Bombshell. Princess going alone. Demanded a grand carriage. Ava's eyes widened. His stoic facade cracked. Lady Anna glided to him, simply dressed. The ball isn't for me. I won't steal the limelight. Commotion erupted from the entrance. Whispers roared. Avis looked to the King. Edward's voice sliced through the ballroom. He demanded to know about my dress. His eyes narrowed, boring into mine. He loomed from the balcony. A judge. Did someone give it to you? He pressed. Or did you get it by using some tricks? The air in the room grew heavy. His oppressive suspicion choked me. This was a terrifying new Edward. My fingers twitched, clutching the silk. The dress's origin was clearly suspect. My mind flashed back to Mrs. Jones. Lady Anna never got what she wanted. Mrs. Jones recalled a ball 16 years ago. Edward never made Anna his fiancée. Anna entered that ball radiant with hope. But another girl stood by the prince. It was the first princess of Philantha, young Edward with the pink-haired princess. Anna's green eyes burned with rejection. Back in the present, my hand trembled. This was the exact same dress. My maids had been terrified, warning me. I ignored them. I needed answers. Possibility 1. Edward sent it to recall memories, a chance to crack his icy heart. My father's dream, gain benefits for my kingdom. Possibility 2. Someone is trying to hurt me. A poisoned gift, knowing the dress's history. My mind screamed to run, but I wouldn't miss this chance to expose them. I could make him remember, right here. Running from problems isn't my style. I met Edward's gaze. He waited for me to crumble. He demanded an answer. Anna watched venomously. It wasn't sent, nor did I take it myself. But in my dream last night, a girl lent it to me. Edward looked confused. What exactly? I bowed, hiding a smirk, and described the dream. The girl asked me to bring the dress back to the ball. I woke up, and the dress was by my bedside. This is absurd. Anna hissed, enraged. I gave her a serene, saintly smile. The girl said this blue dress is worthy of a real princess. Edward looked paralyzed, processing my story. Do you know what it means, Your Majesty? Nonsense, Anna muttered, gripping her glass. Duke Avis stepped forward, bowing deeply. This must be the universe giving us a sign. The Oriental princess wore our traditional dress. Perhaps the glory of our mother shines upon us. Edward breathed out, tension leaving him. Perhaps, as the Duke said, this is a sign. May His Majesty's good fortune continue. Edward cleared his throat. I announced the opening of the ball. The music swelled, the tension dissolved. The Duke gave me a small, knowing smile. Anna stood alone, her face a mask of hatred. Sorry, Anna. The universe prefers my dreams. Avis met my gaze, infuriatingly calm. My practiced smile was lethal. Anna trembled, clutching her wine glass. How was this possible? She stared, eyes darting from my dress to my face. How did I escape so easily? Then her gaze landed on Avis. Betrayal flashed in her eyes. Avis changed so much. He was the untouchable duke, now radiating protective warmth. What kind of magic did she use? Anna's thoughts were visible. A dark aura swirled behind her like demon wings. She looked ready to accuse me. But my spell was already woven. I turned to the king, my voice soft, ethereal. In my dream, I began. A girl held my hand. She was beautiful, desperate. Princess from the East, she pleaded. Please bring this dress back to the grand ball. She begged for this blue silk to see the ballroom once more. King Edward looked away, jaw tight. He was rattled. Your Majesty, a servant broke through. Time for your first dance. Edward looked miserable. Forget it, he snapped. I'd better think. The dress had knocked the political wind out of him. Avis didn't miss a beat. He stepped forward, a perfect bow. Do I have the honor to be your first dance? He looked up, a playful glint. Your Highness, my princess, I blinked, wide-eyed, a power move. Sure, I chirped. Edward's face dark, eyes flashing with resentment. Avis took my hand. We became a whirlwind of blue silk. He moved with grace. The world blurred into white flowers. Hold on, a noble whispered. This ball is in His Majesty's name. How can the Duke invite a partner first? Another added. Edward's fist clenched in cold fury. He remembered Anna. She sobbed in this blue dress. How is she better than me? The memory shifted to me dancing. Edward's gaze was haunted. He remembered his mother. France proposed a truce, she said. Do you want our kingdom at war again? But what about Anna? He'd protested. Your decision decides if you inherit the throne. The Senate was upset with her. Tradition was at stake. His uncle, Duke Kent, could marry the French princess instead. Back in the present, Edward's eyes were bloodshot. The old choice weighed on him. I was a vibrant reminder of his sacrifice for the crown. Avis pulled me closer. What's wrong? He murmured. You're so beautiful, he whispered. Like an oriental lotus. Graceful, elegant, calmly pure. He leaned in. What no one knows is, you're a cute little girl in private. Heat climbed into my cheeks. I couldn't stop my grin. My cute version was for Avis, and Avis only. We danced in a bubble, shutting out the world. Guests stared. They dance as if no one else is around, someone remarked. Edward's gaze was fixed. The Senate's pressure reached a breaking point. The song ended. I sank into a deep curtsy. Princess Wenxin. A new voice cut through the air. Leon, the little Duke Kent, stepped forward. Would you give me the honor? Oh, Leon. My breath hitched. A heavy hand clamped on Leon's shoulder. Edward had moved. Little Duke Kent. Edward growled, dangerous and low. You seem to have forgotten one thing. Little Duke Leon asked me to dance with puppy dog eyes. I internally panicked, knowing the political danger. King Edward's voice cut through the music, cold and regal. He told Leon he wasn't old enough to invite anyone. Leon flinched, then stammered, I just turned 16. Edward ignored him, his intense gaze locking onto me. His hand shot out, clamping mine, a painful grip. He announced, I invite Princess Wenxin to dance. It was a royal decree, not a request. I stood stunned. Leon protested. She hasn't said yes. Edward snapped. Stop overstepping, his voice growled. Duke Avis watched, filled with fury. Everyone knew Edward was acting strangely. My heart hammered. Edward radiated a black aura. A literal, swirling darkness bled from him. Then I saw her, a spectral Anna with a twisted smirk. A voice hissed, no one can see my true form. Shadows pulsed. A monstrous, blood-red eye appeared above Edward. It fed on his guilt, fear, and anger. Spectral Anna mocked him. My dear brother-in-law. Edward's eyes were glazed, staring into an abyss. This was a full-blown supernatural nightmare. Phantom Anna wept. Only I can be your queen. Edward's grip tightened. He leaned in close. He wasn't seeing me anymore. Edward cried. I was forced. Anna? He called me Anna. Jaw dropped. His voice broke. If I knew you. The dance floor felt like a minefield. Edward's iron grip held me tight. His eyes glazed. Lost in his past, I looked up, my voice steady. Your Majesty, I said, trying to anchor him. The lake's heart isn't cold. Neither is yours. I felt his agony, a tense vibration. The world is cold, I whispered, leaning in. It wasn't your fault. The world seemed to stop. Edward's face slackened in pure shock. He stared, like seeing a ghost at peace. The oppressive weight in the room thinned, the black mist choking. His soul dissipated. My words were working. I couldn't believe it. A soft light pulsed from him, replacing shadows. Edward stood, a man, not a cursed vessel. Suffocating pressure lifted. His aura was clean. It felt like a miracle. Not everyone was thrilled. A blonde noblewoman gasped in horror. How? She hissed, face twisting in resentment. How could this be? Leon Duke Avis sighed in relief, his hidden terror finally eased. But peace was fragile. Edward blinked, a frown returning. Princess Wenxin, he murmured, voice a low thrum. Why is your smile so unique? He searched my face, digging deep, so tender and familiar. His eye darkened. It reminds me of a buried memory. I couldn't back away. It's the girl in my dream, he said, entranced. A vision flickered. A girl with Avis pulled me close, his gaze intense. He leaned in, whispering, "What if I've taken you somewhere no one knows? Us? What if we elope?" My heart hammered. I stared, jaw dropped. "I never thought you'd think that, Duke." To fugitive, he was serious. "Of course," he countered, cupping my face. He detailed his plan: property in another country, a dream manor, roses, grapes, our own wine, library for our children. They'd escape Power's Rock. It was a beautiful, impossible picture. "Let's leave everything," he pleaded, foreheads touching. "Always be there." His lips were inches away, promising a new life. I pressed a finger to his lips. "I still love what you said in the dream." I reminded him of his goals: improve magic, build tech. "Whatever you do, I'll do it with you, I swear." His expression shifted. "I like when you call me an eagle that fights, not a porcelain doll." In a manner, Avis watched, realization dawning. With me, he could face anything. My hands pulled him back. "That's what you like," I teased. He looked at me, surrendering, adoring. His inner voice screamed to flee, but a louder one said to listen. Only my satisfaction made his life meaning. "Only when you're happy, am I?"